The American Civil War concluded with the Union preserved and slavery abolished, but the nation faced an unprecedented challenge: how to rebuild. This period, known as Reconstruction, spanned from 1865 to 1877. It was a time of immense hope and profound disappointment shaping the future of American society. The central question was the status of 4 million newly freed African Americans and the reintegration of the Confederate States. This era saw a fierce struggle over the meaning of freedom and equality. The outcomes of Reconstruction would resonate for generations. At the heart of Reconstruction were three transformative constitutional amendments. The 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, formally abolished slavery throughout the United States. It was a monumental step, ending centuries of forced labor. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, defined national citizenship for the first time. It guaranteed equal protection under the law and due process to all citizens, regardless of race. This amendment aimed to protect the rights of freedmen from discriminatory state laws. Finally, the 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, declared that the right to vote could not be denied based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. These three amendments fundamentally reshaped the American legal landscape, promising a more inclusive democracy. The path to Reconstruction was fraught with conflict, particularly between President Andrew Johnson and the radical Republicans in Congress. Johnson, a Southerner, favored a lenient approach, quickly readmitting former Confederate states with minimal protections for freedmen. He often clashed with Congress. Radical Republicans, however, believed the South needed fundamental social and political reform. They sought to protect the rights of African Americans and punish former Confederates. They passed landmark legislation, often overriding Johnson's vetoes, asserting federal authority over the South. Despite federal efforts, resistance to Black freedom was immediate and widespread. Southern states enacted Black codes, restrictive laws designed to control the labor and behavior of freedmen. These codes often forced African Americans into exploitative labor contracts resembling slavery. Terrorist organizations like the Ku Klux Klan emerged, using violence and intimidation to suppress Black political participation and economic advancement. Their aim was to restore white supremacy and undermine the gains of Reconstruction. This era also saw the nascent forms of Jim Crow laws, establishing racial segregation and discrimination. For many freed African Americans, economic independence remained elusive. The system of sharecropping became prevalent across the South. Freedmen would work a plot of land owned by a white landowner in exchange for a share of the crop. This system often trapped families in a cycle of debt and poverty. Landowners frequently manipulated accounts, ensuring that sharecroppers remained indebted and unable to leave. It was a new form of economic subjugation, limiting true freedom. Even with the 15th Amendment, Southern states devised insidious methods to disenfranchise Black voters. Poll taxes required a fee to vote, disproportionately affecting poor African Americans. Literacy tests, often administered unfairly, barred many from the ballot box. Grandfather clauses exempted individuals from these requirements if their ancestors could vote before 1866, effectively excluding Black citizens. Violence and intimidation by white supremacist groups further suppressed Black political participation. These tactics systematically undermined the promise of the 15th Amendment. Reconstruction officially ended with the Compromise of 1877, the disputed presidential election between Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel Tilden led to a political deal. Democrats agreed to accept Hayes as president in exchange for the withdrawal of federal troops from the South. This withdrawal effectively signaled the end of federal protection for African American rights in the former Confederacy. Southern states quickly moved to solidify white supremacy and implement Jim Crow laws. The promise of Reconstruction, though revolutionary, remained largely unfulfilled.